2 years ago, I signed up for a Worldview course. At the beginning of the course, I found out that the whole 2 years would lead to this, a Worldview project. And from the beginning, I kind of knew it would end up being in the form of a video, but I didn't know what that video would look like. I've changed so much over the past couple years, some of it being related to school, most of it not. Over the past 2 years, I've learned a lot about who God is to me. I started to see this when we would compare the character of God to the character of man-made gods. The God of the Bible always ended up being the preferable choice. His compassion, forgiveness, and love were some of the characters that stood out to me the most. And over the past couple years, I've seen these characteristics take a big part of my personal life. I could see God's compassion in the smile and hug of my little brother. I could see him in the shared prayer of a friend. I could see God's forgiveness displayed so many times throughout history, but I could also see his forgiveness through my friends and my family. And I could even see it in the gracious customer's laugh when I dropped the eggs for the 3rd time that week. I could see God's constant truth through the wise words of my friends who never fail to keep me grounded and speak truth into my life. I've seen God's love in my brother's eyes, my sister's willingness to stay up late and listen to my stories from the day. I see God's character through his followers who strive to live like him. And throughout the course, I've been inspired by 4 leaders, historical leaders, who reflected the character of God and stood strong for what they believed in. Bruce Olson, Queen Victoria, Martin Luther King Jr., and Margaret Thatcher. What did these 4 leaders have in common? Half of them were women who ruled the UK at one point, but I definitely think it went deeper than that. What I admired was each one's ability to relate to others, respect others, and still stand strong for their beliefs. Bruce Olson, known as Brushko in his book, was an American missionary who traveled to an island nobody came out of alive. What I admired in him was not only his immense courage, but his humbleness in the situation. He entered their country as a stranger, and he recognized that. He didn't try to westernize their culture or force anything upon them. He went in as a stranger and used the opportunity to step back and take time to learn about and understand their culture. This formed a sense of trust. Brushko's humble approach to this situation eventually allowed him to spread the gospel to this untouched island, and his heart, I feel like, really truly reflected the heart of God. Queen Victoria was one of the most successful leaders of the British Empire. She not only brought Britain out of its pit, but she allowed it to flourish while maintaining respect from her peers, subjects, and citizens. She was able to rule successfully as a Christian, and this worldview allowed her to understand, respect, and care for everyone, despite their class or label. This respect is what I respected in her leadership style, and I think her actions reflected the Christian worldview really well. Martin Luther King Jr. not only related to his fellow African Americans during the civil rights movement, but he also peacefully shared his message, his point of view, and stood up for what was right. He was recognized for this peace, humility, and compassion during his lifetime when he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, 4 short years before his assassination. Margaret Thatcher was also a leader of the British Empire. She stood strongly for her worldview, and this strength allowed her to lead well and lead graciously. She became friends with Mikhail Gorbachev, a Russian leader. Their friendship was a noteworthy one, as nobody expected it to flourish. Thatcher and Gorbachev had completely opposing views in many aspects, but because they were able to step back humbly and get to know each other respectfully as people, their friendship was true and genuine. This humbleness and willingness to get to know someone so different from her really let Thatcher's biblical worldview shine in her personal, social, and political life. After looking at the similarities of each of these leaders, I discovered what I love most about humanity. It's their relatability. Remove all the stereotypes, the labels, and the judgment. We're all people, and these leaders recognize that. As a creative person, one of the biggest things I admire about God is his creativity. I've really enjoyed learning about God's creative spirit these past few years, not only through my classes, but just general observations about the world around us. God is so immensely creative. It blows my mind. It's hard to even know where to start. There are so many parts of the world that have so much natural beauty, and there are so many parts of the world that have been made beautiful by people who use the creative minds God has given them. God's creativity allows all different types of people to connect with him. He could have created a drab world with boring people, but he didn't. He created a world that, even during the storms or bad times, is beautiful. He created so many different kinds of people, not only in the way they look, but in the way they see the world around them. Each of these perspectives highlights different parts of the world others may not be able to see. And this is the importance of society. Society and humanity really go hand in hand. As humans, we're created to be in society, in community with one another. And there are so many positive outcomes to this aspect of life. People can not only share their different outlooks on the world, but they can also contribute their gifts and talents to make the world a better place. In order for our society to run, we need engineers, artists, scientists, musicians, we need doctors and creators and so many different types of people. Without even one of these people, our society would be lacking something. This points to the fact that God created each and every one of us with a specific plan, a specific place in society in mind. This gives us purpose. Because God knew exactly what he was doing when he created us, he also knows what's best for us. God reveals those things to us, those morals, in a few different ways. Through prayer, through wise Christian counsel, and through the Bible. God has provided for each of us these ways to learn more about him. He's the ultimate caretaker and only wants what's best for us. And if we look to him for guidance, he can help us live our best lives. So sure, a couple years ago, I didn't know what this project would look like. And if I'm being totally honest, I didn't know what it looked like 3 weeks ago. But that's the great thing about God and his plans. We can't always know what he has in store for us. And in fact, we usually won't know what he has in store for us. But what we do know is that he loves us. And because he loves us, we can trust that his plans for us are perfect.